we go to lower? Yeah. Goes by on a little bit.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وأما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واكتب لنا في هذه الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة إنا هدنا إليك قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء ورحمتي وسعت كل شيء فسأكتبها للذين يتقون ويؤتون الزكاة والذين هم بآياتنا يؤمنون. And appoint goodness for us in this world and in the hereafter. For indeed we have come back to you, said he. I visit my punishment with whomever I wish, but my mercy embraces all things. Soon I shall appoint it for those who are God-bearing and give the zakah and those who believe in our signs. First and foremost, جميعا سلام عليكم ورحمة الله. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted all of your great deeds and amal, especially your commemoration, your mourning, and your azadari for the sake of Sayyid al-Shahada alayhi salatu wasalam, with the hope and pray that every single one of us can gain the bounty and inshallah the blessing for going to the ziyarat of our beloved Imam Hussein, recite aloud salawat. And inshallah we can remember all of the beloved newly deceased ones, Mahkumeen and Mahkumat of the community, and all the souls of Mu'mineen and Mu'minat of around the world, especially the Shahada, the newly Shahada, and the Rahbar al-Shaheed, within your du'as inshallah, by reciting yet again another salawat, followed by Surah Al-Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My condolences and tasbih for the arrival of the days of Muharram as we approach the day of Ashura, as every night passes by, as we know the pain and the suffering of these days in Ayyam becomes more severe upon the heart of our Imam of time. So inshallah we can ease the pain and help to ease the pain by reciting our most sincere and loudest of salawat. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we're thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this bounty and blessing to be able to get together, alhamdulillah, in the month of Muharram on these nights leading to the day of Ashura, and perhaps be able to walk through the concept known as mercy and justice. So these two concepts are no-brainers. I'm sure if I go around and ask every single one of my respected audience, they have their own definition of what mercy means and what justice means, and how are these two related. But what we're going to try to do for these remaining nights of these 10 days, like the first 10 days of the Muharram, is to take these two concepts. Number one, define it, but define it within a religious context, right? And then two, try to apply it within different personalities and different circumstances of the tragedy of Ashura. So that in a sense, it shows us what a true definition of mercy and justice means within the system of the Muharram, within the system of Ashura, within the movement of Imam al-Hussein. So let's start with one fact about mercy and justice. What is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about this mercy over and over and over in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran? In what sense? In a sense of giving us what the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what criteria this mercy have, and how me and you as believers, mu'mineen and mu'minat, can actually benefit from. So the ayah which I recited is a very like famous ayah in which it is in like answer to specific individuals, the elite members that Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wasalam selects. He selects about 70 of the elite members of Bani Israel to take them to the miqat with himself, to take them to meet basically the Lord, as Nabi Musa was going to meet the Lord. Now, what happens? These are the 70 top ones. These are the what one of a kind, the prime, basically, right? The elite members of that society. As they accompany Nabi Musa, what happens? They come up with what one general statement. They say, "You have selected us. You have brought us to the miqat. You have brought us to the position, to a place in which we're going to meet the Lord. We're not going to settle for anything less. Not unless if we see the Lord, we would not believe what you're saying." They make this statement, right? So here's the first question. What happens for these elite members that Nabi Musa has hand selected them, close to 70, and they have started their journey alongside of the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? And once they get to the miqat, instead of like being in a stage of fellowship of Nabi Musa, in a stage of like following his commands and teachings, the very first thing they claim is a physical argument. If we were not to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our physical eyes, we will not be believing in you, O Nabi Musa. What changes?
And what does
And what
Allah
does Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
do?
do?
Comes the
Comes the
wrath of
wrath
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala, and
ta'ala, and
every
every
single one
single
of
one
these
of these
70
70
people,
people,
they
they
die.
die.
Right on the
Right on the
spot.
spot.
Then what
Then what
happens?
happens?
Nabi Musa
Nabi
makes
Musa
a
makes a
dua.
dua.
He makes a
He makes a
prayer.
prayer.
Oh
Oh
Allah, I
Allah,
have
I have
handpicked and
handpicked and hand
hand-selected these
selected
70
these 70
people. Now you
Now
have
you
killed
have killed
all of
all
them.
of
You
them.
have
You
taken
have
their
taken their
souls all
soul
at
all at
once.
once.
So what am
So
I
what
going
am
to
I
do when
going
I
to do
go
when I
back
go
to my
back to my
home?
home?
What are they
What
going
are
to
they
do to
going to do
me?
to me?
These were the
These were the
prime
prime
of the
of the
tribe, and
tribe,
all of
and
a
all
sudden
of a
all of
sudden
them are
all of them
gone.
are gone.
So he
So he
prays to
prays
Allah
to Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala
subhanahu wa
and
ta'ala
asks
and
Allah
asks Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
to
to
give back
give
their
back their
lives.
lives.
And Allah
And Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
goes with the
goes with the
dua or the
dua or the
supplication of
supplication
Nabi
of Nabi
Musa.
Musa.
He
He
grants them
grants
their
them their
lives as
lives
they
as they
come
come
back to
back to
life.
life.
They have a
They have a
request from
request
Allah
from Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
again,
again,
as if like
as if
Allah
like
had
Allah had
granted them,
granted
right?
them, right?
What was their
What was
first
their first
request?
request?
We want
We
to
want to
see Allah
see Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala by
ta'ala by
physical
physical
eyes.
eyes.
What was the
What was
answer
the
for
answer
that
for
one?
that
If
one?
you want to
If you
see
want to
Allah
see Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala
subhanahu
by
wa ta'ala by
physical
physical
eye, you
eye,
have to
you have to
move
move
away from
away
the
from the
physical world,
physical world,
which means you
which
have to
means you
go to
have
the
to go to the
hereafter.
hereafter.
And that's what
And
Allah
that's what Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu
ta'ala
wa
did.
ta'ala did.
Took away
Took
their
away their
souls. They
souls. They
actually
actually
meet Allah
meet Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala,
ta'ala,
not by the
not by the
physical eyes,
physical eyes,
right?
right?
Then what
Then what
happened?
happened?
Allah
Allah
resurrected them
resurrected them
again
again
to the very
to the
same
very
life.
same life.
Why?
Why?
To bear
To bear
witness,
witness,
to give
to
that
give that
shahada,
shahada,
to go
to go
along Nabi
along
Musa
Nabi
and to
Musa and to
preach and be
preach
able
and be able
to
to
provide that
provide that
evidence to the
evidence to the
tribe or the
tribe or
home
the
of
home
Bani
of Bani
Israel.
Israel.
So they
So they
asking,
asking,
some
some
dua from
dua
Allah
from Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala, and
subhanahu wa
they're
ta'ala. They're
thankful to
thankful
Allah
to Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu
ta'ala
wa
for
ta'ala
this
for this
return to the
return to the
world.
world.
And this is
And
where
this is
this
where
ayah
this ayah
actually
actually
talks about.
talks about.
They
They
say,
say,
وَاكْتُبْ
وَاكْتُبْ
لَنَا فِي
لَنَا فِي
هَذِهِ
هَذِهِ
الدُّنْيَا
الدُّنْيَا
حَسَنَةً وَفِي
حَسَنَةً وَفِي
الْآخِرَةِ.
الْآخِرَةِ.
Oh
O
Allah, now
Allah,
that you
now that
have
you have
returned us
returned
back
us
to
back
this
to this
world,
world,
وَاكْتُبْ
وَاكْتُبْ
لَنَا,
لَنَا,
write for
write
us
for us
حَسَنًا in
hasana
this
in this
world
world
and the
and the
next.
next.
إِنَّا
إِنَّا
هُدْنَا
هُدْنَا
إِلَيْكَ.
إِلَيْكَ.
Why,
Why,
in this
in
world
this
and
world
next,
and
for
next,
indeed
for
we
indeed
have
we have
come
come
back to
back
you.
to you.
We have
We
made
have
this
made this
return to
return
you.
to you.
Again,
Again,
taking it
taking it
on
on
themselves.
themselves.
قَالَ
قَالَ
عَذَابِي
عَذَابِي
أُصِيبُ بِهِ
أُصِيبُ
مَنْ
بِهِ مَنْ
أَشَاءُ.
أَشَاءُ.
Allah
Allah
responds,
responds,
this is
this
my
is my
punishment, my
punishment, my
wrath
wrath
will
will
actually go
actually
and
go
will
and
be
will
like,
be like,
upon
upon
those that
those
I
that I
wish for.
wish for.
أُصِيبُ مَنْ
أُصِيبُ مَنْ
أَشَاءُ
أَشَاءُ
وَرَحْمَتِي
وَرَحْمَتِي
وَسَعَتْ
وَسَعَتْ
كُلَّ
كُلَّ
شَيْء.
شَيْء.
But
But
my
my
mercy,
mercy,
right? The
right? The
divine
divine
mercy of
mercy
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala,
ta'ala,
وَسَعَتْ
وَسَعَتْ
كُلَّ
كُلَّ
شَيْء.
شَيْء.
It's like, it's so
It's so
spread out.
spread
It
out.
is
It
so
is so
general. It
general.
is
It
so in
is so in
absolute
absolute
form.
form.
وَسَعَتْ
وَسَعَتْ
كُلَّ
كُلَّ
شَيْء.
شَيْء.
It takes
It takes
over
over
anything and
anything and
everything
everything
possibly we
possibly
can
we can
imagine or
imagine
talk
or
about.
talk about.
Right?
Right?
The
The
wrath of
wrath
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala,
ta'ala,
limited.
limited.
To
To
whom? To
whom?
those
To
who
those
Allah
who Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
wish.
wish.
And we know
And
the
we know
wish
the
of
wish
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu
ta'ala
wa
is
ta'ala
not
is
like the
not like
wish
the
of me
wish
and
of
you.
me and you.
If it were
If it were
to
to
be
be
the wish
the
of me
wish
and
of me
you,
and you,
perhaps none of
perhaps
us
none
would
of
be
us would
here
be
today,
here today,
right?
right?
And that's
And that's
actually,
actually,
like literally
literally
speaking the words
speaking
of
the
a
words of
hadith.
a hadith.
If we were
If we
to
were
know
to
the
know the
reality of
reality
one
of one
another,
another,
none of us
none
would
of
be
us
able
would
to
be able to
actually
actually
tolerate
tolerate
looking at one
looking another.
We have so many backgrounds, so many stories, right? And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sets all of you. But when it comes to him, when he says, well, my wrath goes upon the ones that I wish for, it's not like a human being that's like, okay, I don't like this person, I'm going to have the wrath for him. I don't like that person, I'm going to have the wrath. No. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these terminology, these concepts are translated different. And that's the first, muqaddamah, that's the first step. How do we define mercy when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When it comes to ourselves, how do we define it? We say be merciful, meaning to express the act of mercy. Where does or how does the act of mercy actually happen and occurs? When we start having this sympathy towards one another. We hear a story of someone, we hear something something bad has happened to them. We hear maybe an act of oppression, we start feeling pity for that person. So as a result of feeling pity for that person, we start expressing mercy. But that's again for human being. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, mercy doesn't come with feeling pity. Doesn't come with feeling sympathy towards us. It's not like a form of or result of interactions or internal feelings. Feelings is for us, right? Because feelings change. You don't have any change in the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to? It literally refers to all of the bounties that me and you receive. The bounty of knowledge, the bounty of life, the bounty of power, the bounty of family, the bounty of community, the bounty of settling, the bounty of for example, education and work and career. All of the bounties that we get becomes an example of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why he says that وَرَحْمَتِي وَسَعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Whatever object that you want to look, whatever object you want to point at, whatever object you want to assume, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy has sovereignty over it. Is expanded. You cannot find a piece, an epsilon, a molecule, an atom, right? Within the whole universe, within the whole cosmos, that does not contain the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's actually the definition of mercy. Definition of mercy is not just again to feel pity, to feel kind, to express kindness. No, kindness becomes the result of it. Or when we compare the deeds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with other deeds, then we can drive the mercy. Basically, mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reflects upon the existence that He's providing for everything, including us and the remaining of the creation. And this provision is a constant provision, right? So that becomes the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what it says, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسَعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَسَأَكْتُبُهَا لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِآيَاتِنَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Then Allah continues, He says, soon I shall appoint it for those who are God-bearing and give the zakat, and those who believe in our signs. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the second stage of rahmah, the second stage of mercy. And the second stage of mercy, who does it belong to? Number one, the one who are God-bearing, the one who have taqwa, the one who have the piety, the one who have this awareness of their whereabouts. We're talking about the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being so expanded that leaves no room for others. But how much of this mercy do we actually acknowledge on a day-to-day basis? How much of this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do we actually acknowledge, right? And every moment of our life. Or is it usually the opposite? Right? We are ready to make an argument. We're ready to pick on a fight. Just like the time you studied, right? They went to the miqat, the very first thing. Oh, if I don't see Allah with my own eyes, I will not believe. Similar argument in a different format. If I'm striving so hard for a particular job, if I'm striving so hard for let's say particular house, income, like a family, whatever need that I may have, whatever desire that I may have. I've been working for it for such a long time. I've been planning for it for such a long time. So many classes, so many boot camps, so many trainings, so many workshops here and there for one particular goal. Then what happens? Right about the time that I'm about to finally clinch the job, the dream of my life, and a new event happens. For example, the AI gets introduced. Then all of a sudden I hear about all of these layoffs. There goes my dream job. There goes my dream like income. There goes my like, for example, all these wishes that I have. What's the first thing that I would do? Why? Right? You always question it. Is it only me? Was it everybody? Right? You always say why? Oh Allah, why me? I've been a good boy. I've been a good man. I've been a mu'min. I've done my salat. I've gone to like mu'min center. I've done my like fasting. I've done my the salt in the month of Ramadan. I've attended the majalis of Imam Hussein. At the same time, I've been studying so hard. Why me? Why not everybody else? Is this a sign of Allah being just? When you start questioning one after another, why me? Why is it happening to me? Because it has happened to me. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not just. He's only doing it to me. Everybody else has it in the best way possible. Right? That's a typical argument. What's the answer? It's the same answer Allah gave to the 70 selected elite members of Bani Israel. That if it's what you think is the right thing for you, because they were assuming that if they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their physical eyes, that will be the ultimate iman, ultimate faith. And that's why they made a claim. If that's what you want, Bismillah, you have to go to the next world. Because once you go to the next world, what happens? Finally, the veils get removed. Finally, you see the realities. But then it's too late for committing actions. Now, when Allah gives them out of mercy the second chance to come back to this world, they finally realize their mistake. Again, what they're asking for, oh Allah, write for us hasanat. They realize it now. That every good thing we do in this world, it counts the utmost amount for us in the next. Right? So it tells us like all of these little things we do. Is anybody watching? Is anybody recording? Are there like angels? Are there like, the day of Qiyamah? This is one perfect proof. That when they come back, when they're given the chance to come back to this life again, the very first thing they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prescribe and write for us hasanah, good deeds in this world and the next. Right? Indicates how, again, thoroughly we have to emphasize on the deeds in which we select to conduct in this life, in this world. And again, it becomes very easily, something that we forget about. Because again, everybody's busy with the day-to-day life, which is understandable. But we got those moments, we got those seconds, those one of a kind, opportunities in which, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up His mercy for me and you. And we have to take advantage of that one. One of the perfect one, month of Muharram. One of the perfect ones is nice leading to the 10th of Muharram. Why? Because they say Rahmatullahi wasi'ah. In one of the ziyarahs of Imam Hussein, we talk to him, we actually call upon him using his title. Assalamu alayka ya Rahmatullahi wasi'ah. Which means salam be upon you, O Abu Abdullah Hussein, who has this quality, who has this attribute. What is the attribute? Rahmatullah al-wasi'ah. He's, the rahmah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whatever is attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is it limited or unlimited? Limited or unlimited? Unlimited. Everybody hears me? Those who hear me to say salawat. Those who do not hear me to say salawat. Those who would like to hear me recite salawat. Inshallah, we can all have this majlis in the land of Karbala alongside of the shrine of Imam Hussein recite salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, let's go back to our discussion. What was the discussion about? Number one, what's the definition of mercy when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Number two, me and you as mu'mineen and not, how can we benefit from this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on day-to-day interactions and transactions and deeds and all the activities that we do? So what was the definition? The definition is that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not similar to how we express mercy. Because the
Because the
source of
source
our
of our
mercy
mercy
comes
comes
from our
from our
feelings.
feelings.
The
The
feelings that we
feelings that we
have
have
has no
has no
place
place
in
in
the
the
essence or
essence
the
or the
attributes of
attributes
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala.
ta'ala.
We're
We're
human
human
beings, we're
beings, we're
limited, we're
limited, we're
constantly
constantly
changing, we're
changing, we're
growing.
growing.
Therefore, we
Therefore,
have
we have
this
this
changeable
changeable
feelings.
feelings.
When it comes
When
to
it comes
Allah
to Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala,
ta'ala,
no,
no,
He's
He's
perfect in
perfect
all
in all
aspects.
aspects.
So His
So His
mercy
mercy
doesn't get
doesn't get
impacted by
impacted
how
by how
Allah
Allah
feels. It's not
feels.
like
It's not
Allah
like
is like a
Allah is
human
like a
being
human
has
being has
feelings.
feelings.
No.
No.
It
It
means like
means
no,
like no,
it's what
it's
the
what the
amount of
amount of
bounties that
bounties
Allah
that Allah
subhanahu wa ta'ala
subhanahu wa
is
ta'ala is
constantly
constantly
providing for
providing
us.
for us.
So when
So
the
when the
mercy is
mercy is
constantly being
constantly being
provided to
provided
us,
to
and we
us,
know
and
this
we know this
mercy is
mercy
not
is not
limited to a
limited to a
specific
specific
region.
region.
We know it's
We
not
know it's not
limited to
limited to
specific
specific
times.
times.
We know
We know
literally
literally
every
every
step that you
step that
take
you
within
take
the
within the
entire
entire
universe and the
universe and the
cosmos, you'll
cosmos,
find
you'll
the
find the
mercy of
mercy
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu
ta'ala.
wa ta'ala.
Where is the
Where is the
problem?
problem?
Acknowledging
Acknowledging
this
this
mercy.
mercy.
Understanding that
Understanding
we are
that we are
filled
filled
all
all
around us. We
around
are
us. We are
surrounded
surrounded
with this
with this
mercy of
mercy
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala
ta'ala
and be
and
able
be
to
able to
actually
actually
feel
feel
the
the
mercy.
mercy.
Once we
Once
start
we start
feeling the
feeling the
mercy, what
mercy, what
happens?
happens?
We get
We get
drawn
drawn
towards it.
towards it.
We get
We get
drawn
drawn
towards it,
towards
and
it,
we
and we
actually
actually
start
start
feeling
feeling
so
so
much
much
into it
into it
that we
that we
start
start
making
making
progress
progress
towards the
towards the
mercy of
mercy
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala.
ta'ala.
And that's the
And
whole
that's the whole
concept
concept
of
of
the
the
pathway that we
pathway
have
that we have
chosen.
chosen.
We name
We
it the
name it the
religion,
religion.
right?
Right?
Now, this
Now,
whole
this whole
pathway that we
pathway
have
that we have
chosen as
chosen as
religion
religion
has
has
particular
particular
moments,
moments,
has
has
particular
particular
times,
times,
particular
particular
places, the
places, the
discussion of
discussion
last
of
night,
last night,
in which
in which
makes
makes
this
this
pathway
pathway
more
more
achievable,
achievable,
in a
in a
more
more
speedy way,
speedy
if you
way,
want
if
to
you want to
say,
say,
more
more
practical,
practical,
and in a
and in a
sense
sense
provides
provides
us the
us the
shortcuts.
shortcuts.
One of
One
those
of
will
those will
be
be
this
this
majalis
majalis
of
of
the Ahlul Bayt.
Ahlul Bayt.
Specifically
Specifically
speaking, the
speaking, the
majlis
majlis
of
of
Sayyid
Sayyid
al-Shuhada alayhi
Shuhada alayhi
salatu
salatu
wassalam.
wassalam.
So me
So
as a
me as a
mu'min and
mu'min and
mu'min,
mu'min,
remember the
remember the
question of
question
last
of
night.
last night.
What am I
What am I
supposed to do
supposed
to
to do
be
to be
able
able
to
to
not just
not just
settle for
settle
the
for the
bare
bare
minimum of
minimum
the
of the
barakat and the
barakat and the
blessings
blessings
within the
within the
majalis? That
majalis?
was the
That was the
question.
question.
How to
How
make
to
sure
make
that I
sure that I
raise the
raise the
bar?
bar?
Because the
Because the
mercy is
mercy is
provided as
provided as
full.
full.
Why should I
Why should
just
I just
take,
take
a
a
limited
limited
portion?
portion?
Why should I
Why should
only
I only
settle for the
settle for the
bare
bare
minimum
minimum
amount, and
amount,
which
and which
becomes for
becomes for
whoever comes
whoever
to the
comes to the
Majlis
majlis
of
of
Sayyid
Sayyid
al-Shuhada?
al-Shuhada?
That's one
That's
great
one
point,
great
right?
point, right?
Sayyid
Sayyid
al-Shuhada is the
al-Shuhada is the
universal
universal
pathway, if you
pathway,
want
if
to
you want
say.
to say.
Meaning he
Meaning he
has
has
this,
this,
he has
he
this
has this
jazaba, he
jazaba,
has
he
this
has this
attraction
attraction
for
for
literally
literally
speaking,
speaking,
whoever
whoever
possibly you
possibly
can
you
think
can
of,
think of,
with
with
whatever
whatever
background,
background,
with
with
whatever
whatever
deeds, with
deeds, with
whatever
whatever
report card,
report card,
with
with
whatever
whatever
stage of
stage of
level of
level
faith
of
or
faith or
iman that they
iman
may
that they
be
may
in.
be in.
There's
There's
actually a
actually
book
a book
written
written
about
about
all the
all the
people.
people.
When I say
When I
all,
say
obviously
all,
this
obviously
doesn't
this
mean
doesn't mean
all,
all,
but
but
those who were
those who were
pretty
like
well
pretty well
known,
known,
and they
and
got
they got
transformed
transformed
by
by
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein,
al-Hussein,
by the
by
name
the
of
name
Imam
of Imam
al-Hussein, by
al-Hussein, by the
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 movement of
movement
Imam
of Imam
al-Hussein, by the
al-Hussein, by the
majalis of
majalis
Imam
of Imam
al-Hussein,
al-Hussein,
by the
by the
teachings of
teachings
Abu
of Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
al-Hussein.
al-Hussein.
They have
They have
written
written
books.
books.
Guess how
Guess
many
how many
volumes is
volumes
that
is
book?
that book?
Make a
Make a
random
random
guess.
guess.
Right?
Right?
And these are
And
the
these are the
famous
famous
people,
people,
not
not
any
any
random
random
miracles of
miracles
stuff
of
here and
stuff
there.
here and
No,
there. No.
famous people.
Famous
They're
people, they're
scholars. They're
scholars,
well
they're
known.
well
They're
known, they're
khatib. They're
khatib, they're
speakers, right?
speakers, right?
And they
And
get
they get
transformed by
transformed
Abu
by Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
al-Hussein. The book
al-Hussein. The book
title is
title is
Al-Mutahabadun.
Al-Mutahabadun.
They've been
They've been
transformed,
transformed.
right?
Right?
At
At
least
least
10
10
volumes of
volumes
this
of
book
this book
has been
has been
published. In what
published. In what
sense?
sense?
Having a
Having a
picture,
picture,
photo picture of the
picture of the
person,
person,
a
a
brief
brief
biography,
biography,
and the
and the
story
story
that how
that
he or
how he or
she
she
was
was
transformed
transformed
by
by
Abu
Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
al-Hussein.
al-Hussein.
And this is a
And this is a
contemporary book.
contemporary book.
No, we're not
And we're
talking
not
about the
talking
day
about
of
the day of
Ashura from
Ashura
that
from that
moment till
moment
now.
till
No,
now.
this
No,
is
this is
like within the contemporary years,
years,
10
10
volumes, right?
volumes,
At
at
least
least,
of
of the
specific
specific
individuals who are
individuals
pretty
who are
well
pretty well
known and
known
they come
and they
from
come from
different school
different
of
school of
thoughts, but
thoughts,
they
but
get
they get
transformed by
transformed by
Allah bin
Allah bin
Ma'aseh.
Ma'aseh.
Their
Their
story is
story
very
is very
interesting.
interesting.
One of them,
One
for
of them, for
example,
example,
says,
says,
I got
I got
transformed by a
transformed by a
khutbah, by the
khutbah, by the
sermon of
sermon of
Sayyidah
Sayyidah
Zainab
Zainab
Sallallahu
sallallahu
Alaihi in
in
Sham and
Sham and
Damascus.
Damascus.
That was
That
the
was the
opening for
opening
me.
for me.
The other one
The other
says,
one
no,
says,
the
no, the
story of
story of
Hazrat Ali
Hazrat Ali
Asghar
Asghar
was the
was the
opening for
opening
me.
for me.
The other
The
one
other
says
one
the
says the
story of
story of
Hazrat Ali
Hazrat Ali
Akbar.
Akbar.
The other
The
one
other
says
one
the
says
way
the
that
way that
Abu Abdullah
Abu
was
Abdullah
saying,
was
like,
saying, like,
was
was
talking to
talking
his
to
little
his little
kids on the
kids
day
on
of
the day of
Ashura, on the
Ashura,
eve
the
of
eve of
Ashura.
Ashura.
So you
So you
name it,
name it,
there is a
there is a
practical
practical
solution.
solution.
You name
You
it, there
name
is
it,
a
there is a
pathway.
pathway.
So how
So
much
how
of
much
this
of this
pathway that is
pathway that is
provided for
provided for
everybody,
everybody,
me and you
me and
are
you are
benefiting.
benefiting.
It's like, oh shit, we have already been transformed. Yes, alhamdulillah, we've been transformed in the sense of being raised as a Shia, as a followers of the Ahlul Bayt. That's good. But that's the starting point. That's not the ending point, right? Meaning like we should be so ahead of everybody else because we've been given this bounty to be born in a family who knows the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. But how much of these teachings have you actually practiced? These teachings are not for the people who are not following the school of thought. It's for me and you. Why would our Ahlul Bayt become shaheed? Just to make sure the teachings will convey over. That should give you the reason. That why? Because they want to see us be able to be just to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can we become just to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Literally taking what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us and placing it in the proper place. That's the definition of justice. Right? Taking what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us and using it in a proper manner to the appropriate portion, right? Placing everything where it's supposed to be, where it deserves to be. That's the definition of justice. So in a sense, justice is an outcome of mercy. If there is no mercy, there is no true justice. Vice versa, if you see an act of just act, implication of a whole vast amount of mercy behind that, before that. And with this lens, we want to analyze the tragedy of Ashura, inshallah, the movement of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us the tawfiq, inshallah. Now, tonight is the second night of Muharram. Usually they talk about two famous events that takes place on the second night of Muharram. One is the departure of the Quran of Imam Hussein from the city of Mecca. Two, the news of the Shahada of one of the greatest figures of the tragedy of Ashura, the ambassador of Imam Hussein, Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. Before we lead to the Masail of tonight, let's take a moment for a second and let's focus on the personality of Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Muslim is a very unique shaheed. In what sense? In a sense that he's not only from the family, he's not only the official representative of Imam Hussein. So he has both connection with the family and the officially being representative. At the same time, he's in love with Imam Hussein. Why do I say he's in love with Imam Hussein? Literally speaking, his entire family was sacrificed for the sake of Allah. And his news of Shahada was given at the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen before he even was born. So again, indicates how high of a status he has. Imagine someone such as Nabi Rasulullah, the beloved Prophet, to mourn for Muslim years before he is even born. That's an interpretation. That these jewels that Allah has brought together, right? If all of the 72 of the Shuhada, we consider each one as a gem, as a jewel, Hazrat Muslim takes it all from everybody. Because who has mourned for him? Not only Imam Hussein, not only Amir al-Mu'mineen, but the Holy Prophet of Islam. When back in the days, when Amir al-Mu'mineen is talking with Nabi Rasulullah, and he asks Nabi Rasulullah, my beloved Nabi Rasulullah, do you have this, likings and you have this hope for, Aqil, my brother? Nabi Rasulullah says, yes. I like him, and I like him in two ways, right? أحبه في حبين. I like him in two different ways. I have true love for him. What's the first love? The first love is the son of, he's your brother. What's the second love? The second love that I have for him is that there will be a son from his lineage. And that son is going to sacrifice himself for the sake of your son, Ali, but only and only out of the hope and love that he has for him. Not for the dunya. And Nabi Rasulullah starts to mourn for Hazrat Muslim before he is even born. In what stage? Not to recite eulogy and start reciting poem. No, he literally breaks down to tears. Imagine Nabi Rasulullah, grown man at that age, he breaks down to tears. To what extent? That the hadith continues. He says he cries so much that his entire beard becomes wet out of his tears. What is Nabi Rasulullah is
Rasulullah
seen to
seemed
make
to
him
make him
cry this
cry
much?
this much?
Again,
Again,
remember me and
remember
you,
me
we
and you,
go
we
over
go
entire
over entire
Masail.
Masada.
We maybe like
Maybe
try to
like
like
try to
shed
like
one
shed
tear,
one
two
tear,
tears
two
for you,
tears
and
for
then
you,
that's
and
it.
then that's it.
Alhamdulillah, we're
Alhamdulillah, we're
happy.
happy.
What is
What
Nabi
is Nabi
Rasulullah is
Rasulullah
saying
saying
from the
from the
status of
status of
Muslim ibn
Muslim ibn
Aqil,
Aqil,
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim ibn
Muslim ibn
Aqil,
Aqil,
that he's
that he's
crying and
crying and
weeping
weeping
over this
over this
Masail
Messiah
so
so
much that
much
his
that his
entire
entire
beard
beard
becomes red
becomes
from
red
the
from the
tears of
tears
Nabi
of Nabi
Rasulullah,
Rasulullah,
to the
to the
point
point
that
that
the
the
narration
narration
continues. He
continues. He
says,
says,
even the
even the
drips of
drips of
tear of
tear of
Nabi
Nabi
Rasulullah
Rasulullah
falls
falls
through the
through the
beard of
beard of
Nabi
Nabi
Rasulullah
Rasulullah
over
over
his
his
chest.
chest.
Imagine.
Imagine.
So what
So
is
what
he
is he
seeing? What
saying?
is
What
he
is he
witnessing?
witnessing?
That's just
That's
one
just one
incident.
incident.
So
So
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim has
Muslim has
that
that
unique
unique
status when it
status when it
comes
comes
among the
among the
Shahada.
Shahada.
Now,
Now,
before
before
talking
talking
about
about
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim,
Muslim,
it's a
it's a
matter
matter
of
of
the
the
caravan and the
caravan and the
group of
group of
Imam
Imam
Hussein
Hussein
living
living
or
or
leaving
leaving
the
the
city of
city of
Mecca.
Mecca.
City of
City of
Mecca, those
Mecca,
who
those
have
who
gone
have
to
gone to
Hajj or
Hajj or
Umrah, they
Umrah, they
know.
know.
City of
City of
Mecca has
Mecca
this
has this
sanctity,
sanctity,
has this
has this
respect,
respect,
has this
has
what
this
they
what they
call it
call
the
it the
haram.
haram.
Meaning when you
Meaning when you
enter this
enter this
region, when you
region, when
enter
you enter
within this
within this
specific
specific
distance
distance
from the
from the
Holy
Holy
Kaaba,
Kaaba,
everybody's
everybody's
supposed to
supposed
wear
to
the
wear the
ihram as
ihram
they
as they
enter.
enter.
You
You
cannot just
cannot
like,
just like,
say, okay,
say,
I've got
okay, I've
my
got my
visa, I'm
visa,
just
I'm
going to
just
go
going to
in
go
there
in
and
there
wear.
and
Why?
wear.
No,
Why
you
not?
have
You
to put
have to
an
put an
ihram. There are
ihram. There are
etiquettes, there
etiquettes,
are
there are
adabs, there
adabs,
are
there are
deeds
deeds
in which you
in which
have
you
to
have
go
to
in
go
order
in
to
order
be
to
able
be able
to
to
enter
enter
this
this
stage of
stage of
haram.
haram.
So
So
imagine
imagine
within that
within that
haram, which
haram,
you're
which
not
you're not
supposed
supposed
to
to
kill a
kill a
bug.
bug.
You're not
You're not
supposed to
supposed to
pull on
pull
the
on the
leaves of
leaves
the
of the
trees.
trees.
You're not
You're not
supposed to
supposed to
like
like
lay your
lay your
foot on
foot
the
on the
grass that
grass
you
that
may
you may
see on the
see on the
streets or
streets or
along the
along the
side
side
within this
within this
haram, because
haram,
each
because
one of
each
these
one of
will
these
have a
will have a
kafara.
kafara.
You have to
You have
pay
to pay
something for
something
it
for it
as a
as a
punishment,
punishment.
right?
Right?
Why?
Why?
Because it's
Because
the
it's the
house of
house of
Allah
Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala.
ta'ala.
Even
Even
insects will
insects will
find
find
safety in the
safety in
house
the
of
house
Allah
of Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala.
ta'ala.
Animals,
Animals,
birds,
birds,
whatever you
whatever you
name it,
name it,
trees, right?
trees, right?
Including
Including
human
human
beings.
beings.
But from
But
the
from the
very
very
same
same
sanctuary
sanctuary
place of the
place of the
city of
city of
Mecca,
Mecca,
someone such
someone
as
such
Abu
as Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
Hussein
Hussein
has to
has to
get
get
pushed
pushed
out
out
to the
to the
extent
extent
that not
that not
only to
only to
leave
leave
immediately, but
immediately,
to
but to
break
break
off
off
his
his
Hajj.
Hajj.
Breaking up a
Breaking up a
Hajj
Hajj
is not
is
an
not an
easy
easy
task.
task.
You have
You
to
have
have
to
a
have a
very
very
legit
legit
reason
reason
from a
from a
fiqhi
fiqhi
aspect.
aspect.
Once you
Once you
start the
start the
deeds, you're
deeds, you're
supposed to
supposed to
continue it
continue it
unless if you
unless
have
if
a
you have
very
a very
legit
legit
reason.
reason.
So for
So for
Imam
Imam
al-Masum
Masum
to
to
break off
break
his
off his
Hajj
Hajj
in the
in the
middle of
middle
the
of the
deeds,
deeds,
leave the
leave the
city of
city of
Mecca
Mecca
in
in
such a
such a
hasty
hasty
manner
manner
and
and
take,
take,
take with
take
him
with him
all of the
all of the
women and
women and
children in the
children in the
family.
family.
Imagine how
Imagine
much
how much
pressure is
pressure is
there.
there.
To
To
what
what
extent
extent
Imam is
Imam is
fearing the
fearing the
life
life of
of himself and
himself and
all of the
all of the
believers who are
believers who are
remaining.
remaining.
Furthermore, to
Furthermore,
what
to what
extent
extent
Imam
Imam
fears the
fears the
destructions of
destructions
the
of the
roots
roots
of
of
Islam,
Islam,
the
the
foundation of
foundation of
Islam.
Islam.
And that's
And
why
that's why
Imam makes
Imam
the
makes the
khuruj, that's
khuruj,
why
that's why
Imam
Imam
exits the
exits the
city of
city of
Mecca,
Mecca,
and that's
and
what
that's
he
what he
talks
talks
about.
about.
That it's
That
not
it's
like,
not like,
I'm
I'm
leaving the
leaving the
city of
city of
Mecca
Mecca
because like
because
I'm
like I'm
afraid for
afraid
my
for
own
my own
personal
personal
life.
life.
No,
No,
it's a
it's a
matter of
matter
the
of the
roots of
roots
the
of the
religion,
religion,
the
the
principles of the
principles of the
religion,
religion,
right?
right?
This
This
foundation of the
foundation of the
religion that
religion that
must be
must be
preserved for the
preserved for
next
the next
generations to
generations
come.
to come.
So as
So as
Imam
Imam
collects
collects
the
the
group of
group
the
of the
caravan,
caravan,
they
they
reported like
reported like in
large
large
numbers of
numbers
the
of the
2,000
2,000
people
people
accompanying
accompanying
Imam
Imam
Hussein.
Hussein.
He's not
He's
an
not an
ordinary
ordinary
man, he's the
man, he's the
world
world
famous
famous
celebrity of
celebrity
his
of
time.
his time.
Everybody knows
Everybody
him.
knows him.
Even
Even
2,000,
2,000,
maybe
maybe
more
more
people try
people
to
try to
accompany him.
accompany him.
Right as
Right
they
as they
leave the
leave the
city of
city of
Mecca,
Mecca,
right, the
right?
very
The very
first
first
majlis or
masjid or
manzil that
manzil
they,
that they,
descend and
descend
they
and they
like put
like
up
put up
their
their
camps and
camps
they're
and they're
about to
about to
rest, they're coming
coming
to,
to,
like,
they
they call them
call them
riders
riders
from
from
towards the
towards the
city of
city of
Kufa.
Kufa.
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein
Hussein
spots them.
spots them.
He
He
calls
calls
upon them and
upon
he
them and he
tells
tells
the
the
ashab to
ashab
go
to go
and,
ahead,
bring them
bring them
closer.
closer.
Those two
Those two
riders come
riders
in.
come in.
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein
Hussein
inside of the
inside of the
tent.
tent.
All of the
All of the
Ahmed Bani
Ahmed Bani
Hashim are
Hashim
there.
are
The
there. The
ashab are
ashab are
there.
there.
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein
Hussein
starts the
starts the
conversation.
conversation.
What's
What's
news
news
of
of
Kufa?
Kufa?
These two
These two
first
first
say,
say,
"Oh,
"Oh,
Abu
Abu
Abdullah, if you
Abdullah, if
want
you
the
want the
news,
news,
it
it
probably will
probably
be
will be
better
better
if you
if you
let go
let
of
go of
all of
all of
the
the
companions and
companions and
Bani
Bani
Hashim, and then
Hashim,
we
and then
can
we
tell
can
you in
tell you in
private,
private,
basically.
basically.
News is
News
not a
is not
good
a good
news."
news.
Imam
Imam
Hussein looks
Hussein
around
looks
and
around and
says,
says,
"There is
"There
no
is no
Imam
Imam
Muhammad here.
Muhammad here.
Imam
Imam
Muhammad
Muhammad
sent
sent
out
out
being an
being an
outsider.
outsider.
We can
We
tell
can
you the
tell you the
news in
news in
front of
front of
everybody."
everybody.
They say
They
the
say
only
the only
news that we
news that
have
we have
brought for
brought
you
for
from
you
the
from the
city of
city of
Kufa
Kufa
is that
is
as
that
we
as
were
we were
leaving
leaving
the
the
city of
city of
Kufa, the
Kufa, the
body of
body of
Muslim ibn
Muslim ibn
Aqil
Aqil
and
and
Hani ibn
Hani ibn
Urwa
Urwa
were
were
dropped
dropped
down on the
down on the
ground,
ground,
tied up
tied
with
up
the
with the
rope,
rope,
and they
and
were
they were
dragging the
dragging the
body of
body
these
of
two
these two
shaheed
shaheed
on the
on the
alleys of
alleys
the
of the
Kufa.
Kufa.
O Abu
O Abu
Abdullah,
Abdullah,
whatever
wherever
direction you
direction you
take,
take,
don't go
don't go
towards
towards
Kufa.
Kufa.
Kufa is
Kufa is
another
another
place to
place
show
to show
support for
support
you.
for you.
At least
At
go a
least go a
different way.
different
Go
way.
to the
Go to the
south, go
south,
to the
go to the
north, go
north,
to the
go to the
east, go
east, go
to
to the
anywhere
anywhere
but
but
the
the
city of
city of
Kufa.
Kufa.
The
The
historian
historian
report
report
this,
this,
that when
that
the
when the
news of
news
the
of the
Shahada
Shahada
of
of
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
Imam ibn
ibn
Abdullah
Abdullah
reached the
reached the
caravan of
caravan of
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein,
Hussein,
groups by
groups by
groups,
groups,
groups of
groups
two,
of two,
groups of
groups of
three,
three,
groups of
groups of
four,
four,
groups of
groups of
five.
five.
People were
People were
leaving
leaving
the
the
caravan of
caravan of
Imam
Imam
al-Hussein.
Hussein.
Why?
Why?
They
They
realized that
realized that
this
this
journey
journey
has no
has no
return.
return.
This
This
journey
journey
has no
has no
material
material
benefit.
benefit.
This
This
journey
journey
has
has
no
no
political
political
affairs.
affairs.
This
This
journey
journey
doesn't have
doesn't
a
have a
status.
status.
This
This
journey
journey
doesn't
doesn't
have the
have the
mundane
mundane
world.
world.
So
So
not
not
one by
one by
one,
one,
but the
but
way
the
the
way the
Maqatil
Muqatil
describes,
describes,
group by
group by
group.
group.
They
They
started
started
saying
saying
farewell,
farewell,
not
not
even
even
farewell, they
farewell, they
just
just
disappeared.
disappeared.
To the
To
point
the
that
point
some
that
of the
some of the
historians they
historians
make
they
this
make this
claim that
claim
from
that
this
from
very
this very
first
first
manzil
manzil
all the
all
way
the
to the
way to the
land of
land of
Karbala,
Karbala,
like
like
literally
literally
speaking, the
speaking, the
group of
group
the
of the
Shahada
Shahada
became
became
the
the
famous group
famous
that
group
we
that we
know.
know.
It
It
wasn't like
wasn't
that
like
many
that
of
many
them
of them
leaving
leaving
Imam
Imam
Hussein on the
Hussein on
night
the
before
night before
Ashura. The
Ashura.
very
The very
first
first
place that
place
they
that they
left
left
Imam
Imam
Hussein
Hussein
was
was
right
right
outside of the
outside of the
city of
city of
Mecca.
Mecca.
There's a
There's a
lot of
lot
them
of
were
them were
accompanying
accompanying
Imam
Imam
Hussein
Hussein
with the
with the
wish, with the
wish, with the
dream
dream
that
that
Imam is going
Imam
to
is
gain
going
the
to gain the
power, I'm going
power.
to
I'm going to
become
become
somebody, I'm going
somebody.
to
I'm
get
going
a
to get a
portion of
portion
this
of this
world.
world.
The
The
moment they
moment they
saw
saw
no
no
return.
return.
And that's
And
what
that's what
Imam
Imam
Hussein
Hussein
talks
talks
about
about
this.
this.
He
He
says
says
those who
those
are
who are
willing
willing
to
to
extend
extend
their
their
life
life
in a
in a
way of
way
no
of no
return,
return,
they
they
can
can
accompany
accompany
us
us
as we are
as we are
leaving
leaving
tomorrow in the
tomorrow in the
morning,
morning,
and there
and
will
there
be
will
no
be no
return
return
of this
of this
journey.
journey.
Assalamu
السلام
alayka
عليك
ya
يا
Aba
أبا عبد
Abdullah
الله
وعلى
وعلى
الأرواح
الأرواح
التي
التي
حلت
حلت
بفنائك
بفنائك
عليك
عليك
مني
مني
سلام
سلام
الله
الله
أبدا
أبدا
ما
ما
بقيت
بقيت
وبقي
وبقي
الليل
الليل
والنهار
والنهار
ولا
ولا
جعله
جعله
الله
الله
آخر
آخر
العهد
العهد
مني
مني
لزيارتكم
لزيارتكم
السلام
السلام
على
على
الحسين
الحسين
وعلى
وعلى
الحسين
الحسين
وعلى
وعلى
أولاد
أولاد
الحسين
الحسين
وعلى
وعلى
أصحاب
أصحاب
الحسين.
الحسين.
Let's take
Let's
a
take a
moment. Let's
moment.
go
Let's
to the
go to the
alleys of
alleys of
Kufa,
Kufa,
where
where
you
you
can
can
find
find
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
ibn
ibn
Ali,
Ali,
perhaps in the
perhaps in the
Jami
Jami, the man
al-Maymun
named
Masjid, or
Masjid,
one
or
of the
one of the
masajid of
masajid of
Kufa,
Kufa.
right
Right
after the
after the
first
first
salat,
salat,
he
he
turns
turns
back,
back,
and what
and
does
what
he
does he
see
see
behind him?
behind him?
All the
All the
lines
lines
and
and
lines and
lines
the
and the
lanes of
lanes of
all of
all of
these,
these,
like
like
worshipper of
worshipper of
Allah
Allah
subhanahu wa
subhanahu wa
ta'ala,
ta'ala.
all of
All of
those
those
18,000
18,000
plus
plus
who
who
committed their
committed their
allegiance, who
allegiance, who
paid their
paid their
allegiance to
allegiance to
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim on
Muslim on
behalf of
behalf of
Allah
Allah
Abdullah
Abdullah
Hussein,
Hussein,
not a
not a
single
single
one has
one has
remained.
remained.
Oh, I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry,
sorry,
actually,
actually,
three were
three were
remained.
remained.
Out of
Out of
18,000,
18,000,
three will
three would
remain.
remain.
By the
By the
end of
end
the
of the
second
second
namaz,
namaz,
those
those
three were
three were
gone
gone
as the
as the
rest of
rest
the
of the
18,000.
18,000.
But you are
But
in
you are
in a
in the
city as
city
a
as a
stranger.
stranger.
You are in a
You're in the
city as
city as a
gharib.
gharib.
You have
You
no
have no
place to
place
go
to go
to.
to.
You have
You
no
have no
family to
family to
turn to.
turn to.
What would
What
you
would you
do?
do?
The
The
exits are
exits are
closed
closed
down. There
down.
are
There are
guards
guards
everywhere. There
everywhere.
is the
There is the
order
order
for like
for
to
like to
come
come
after you.
after
There
you.
is
There
a
is a
search
search
warrant for
warrant for
you.
you.
They had
They
put a
had put a
price
price
over your
over your
head.
head.
Which
Which
direction would
direction
you
would you
take?
take?
Hazrat
As that the
Muslim
Muslim
goes
goes
from
from
one
one
alley to
alley to
another,
another,
one
one
street to
street to
another
another
street, try
street,
to
try to
find a
find a
way
way
outside of the
outside of the
city of
city of
Kufa.
Kufa.
It's
It's
all been
all been
surrounded.
surrounded.
As it
As it
goes the
goes the
night,
night,
it
it
becomes
becomes
higher.
higher.
The
The
energy
energy
becomes
becomes
less.
less.
He
He
finally
finally
finds a
finds a
wall and
wall
he
and he
leans
leans
against it
against
for
it for
just to
just to
catch his
catch his
breath for
breath for
some
some
time.
time.
When the
When the
door of
door
the
of the
house
house
opens up,
opens up,
his
his
older
older
lady
lady
comes out.
comes out.
Her
Her
name is
name is
Talha.
Talha.
She looks outside. She sees Hazrat Muslim leaning against the wall of her house. She looks at Hazrat Muslim. She doesn't say anything, goes back, close the door. A couple of minutes later, she opens the door again. She looks again as if she's questioning, what are you doing here at this middle of the night? But she doesn't say anything, goes back in, closes the door again. For the third time, she opens the door, she looks out. This time she speaks. Who are you, stranger? Hazrat Muslim leaning against the wall says, you have absolutely the right to not to know me. My
My
name is
name is
Muslim.
Muslim.
I am
I
the
am the
son of
son of
Aqil.
Aqil.
I am
I
the
am the
nephew of
nephew of
Amir
Amir
al-Mu'mineen.
al-Mu'mineen.
I am
I
the
am the
cousin
cousin
of
of
Abu
Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
al-Hussein.
al-Hussein.
I am
I
the
am the
ambassador of
ambassador
Abu
of Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
al-Hussein.
al-Hussein.
I
I
was
was
invited to
invited to
this
this
city by
city
the
by the
signature
signature
of the
of the
people of
people
the
of the
Kufa.
Kufa.
I
I
got
got
18,000
18,000
people to
people to
show their
show their
support for
support for
me,
me,
but
but
not a
not a
single one
single
is
one is
willing to
willing to
stand up
stand
and
up and
provide the
provide the
support that
support
is
that is
needed.
needed.
I
I
am
am
Muslim, the
Muslim, the
son of
son of
Aqil.
Aqil.
So I
Now I
says, you
says,
are
you are
Muslim?
Muslim?
You are
You
the
are the
Muslim that
Muslim that
everybody's
everybody's
talking
talking
about?
about?
You are
You
my
are my
guest of
guest of
honor. You
honor.
should
You
have
should
said
have
at the
said at the
beginning,
beginning,
please come
please come
in.
in.
She
She
brings
brings
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
inside,
inside,
provides
provides
food,
food,
provides like a
provides like a
place to
place to
sleep for
sleep for
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim,
Muslim,
and
and
treats him
treats
as
him
the
as the
guest of
guest of
honor,
honor,
not
not
knowing that
knowing
the
that the
son
son
of
of
Torah is
Torah is
among
among
those
those
who are
who are
going to
going to
find
find
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim for
Muslim
the
for the
sake
sake
of the
of the
reward
reward
and the
and the
bounty that
bounty
is
that is
placed on the
placed on
head
the
of
head of
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim.
Muslim.
So the
So the
Maqtal
Maqtal
says when
says, when
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
realized
realized
that his
that his
whereabout has
whereabout has
been
been
discovered,
discovered,
he wants
he
to
wants
head
to
out
head
of
out
the
of the
house, head
house, head
outside of the
outside of the
house.
house.
Why? Because
Why?
when
Because
they
when they
attack,
attack,
they don't
they
know
don't know
her
her
house. They
house.
will
They will
destroy
destroy
everything.
everything.
But
But
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
has
has
that
that
blood
blood
of the
of the
Bani
Bani
Hashim.
Hashim.
He
He
says, no,
says,
if
no,
there's
if
a
there's a
war going
war
to
going
take
to take
place, he'll
place,
be
he'll be
outside of
outside
the
of the
house.
house.
He
He
comes
comes
outside of the
outside of the
house.
house.
He's
He's
fighting one
fighting
on
one
one
on
on
one
the
on the
alleys of the
alleys of the
Kufa.
Kufa.
How much
How
can
much
you
can you
fight? They
fight? They
keep on
keep on
sending
sending
reinforcement,
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 reinforcement.
reinforcement.
To the
To
point
the
that
point
when
that
they
when they
ask for
ask
more
for more
reinforcement,
reinforcement,
Ubaydullah
Ubaydullah
ibn
ibn
Ziyad
Ziyad
becomes
becomes
angry.
angry.
He
He
says, you're
says, you're
trying to
trying to
take
take
one
one
person.
person.
How come
How
you
come you
cannot take
cannot
that
take
one
that one
person? And
person?
keep
And
on
keep on
asking for
asking for
reinforcement.
reinforcement.
They
They
say,
say,
no, this
no, this
person is
person
not
is
an
not an
ordinary
ordinary
man.
man.
He's
He's
Muslim.
Muslim.
He's son
He's
of
son of
Aqil.
Aqil.
He's the
He's the
nephew of
nephew of
Amir
Amir
al-Mu'mineen.
al-Mu'mineen.
He's the
He's the
nephew of
nephew of
Haydar
Haydar
Karrar.
Karrar.
He
He
knows how
knows
to
how to
use the
use the
sword.
sword.
He knows
He
how
knows
to
how to
fight
fight
back.
back.
Send
Send
whatever you
whatever you
have.
have.
So
So
Ubaidullah gives
Ubaydullah
the
gives the
order,
order,
says, well,
says, well,
attack him
attack him
from
from
multiple
multiple
directions.
directions.
If he's
If
like
he's
what
like
you
what you
described, why
described,
are
why
you
are you
going one
going
on
one on
one?
one?
So they
So they
change the
change the
battle. Now
battle.
they
Now they
start
start
attacking him
attacking him
from
from
multiple
multiple
directions
directions
and
and
from
from
top of
top
the
of the
roofs of
roofs
the
of the
house
house
and with
and with
whatever they
whatever they
have,
have.
those with
Those with
swords,
swords,
those with
those with
arrows,
arrows,
those who do
those who
not
do
have
not have
anything, they
anything,
pick
they
up
pick up
pebbles and
pebbles and
rocks
rocks
from
from
here and
here and
pieces of
pieces of
fire and
fire and
charcoal,
charcoal,
and they
and they
start
start
throwing
throwing
everything
everything
towards
towards
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim in the
Muslim in the
middle of
middle of
all of
all
this.
of this.
What a
What a
resemblance does
resemblance
the
does the
ambassador
ambassador
has to
has
Abu
to Abu
Abdullah
Abdullah
on the
on
day
the
of
day of
Ashura?
Ashura?
But he
But he
keeps on
keeps on
fighting and he
fighting and
keeps
he
on
keeps on
saying, La
saying, La
ilaha
ilaha
illallah,
illallah,
Allahu
Allahu
Akbar,
Akbar,
Allahu
Allahu
Akbar.
Akbar.
Finally, they
Finally,
dig
they
a
dig a
trap for
trap
him
for
and
him
they
and
push
they
him
push him
inside of the
inside of the
trap
trap
where he
where he
falls down
falls
and
down
they're
and
able
they're
to
able to
finally take
finally
away
take
his
away his
sword for
sword
him
for him
and take
and
him to
take him to
Darul
Darul
Imara in
Imara in
front of
front
that
of that
Marhum
Marhum
Ubaidullah.
Ubaydullah.
As he's
As he's
sitting
sitting
there,
there,
they
they
bring
bring
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim to
Muslim to
Darul
Darul
Imara.
Imara.
What
In what
stage they
stage
have
they have
tied of his
tied of his
hands.
hands.
His lips
His
has
lips
been
has been
wounded.
wounded.
Blood is
Blood is
gushing out
gushing
from
out
his
from
lips
his
over
lips
his
over
teeth.
his
And
teeth. And
now
now
he
he
asks for
asks
a
for a
plate of
plate of
water, for a
water,
cup
for a
of
cup of
water.
water.
When you
When you
get,
get,
wounded, you
wounded,
become
you become
thirsty even
thirsty even
faster.
faster.
They
They
bring
bring
one bowl
one
of
bowl of
water, one
water,
cup
one
of
cup
water
of
for him.
water for him.
As he's
As he's
about to
about
drink
to
the
drink the
water, the
water, the
blood keeps
blood
on
keeps on
dripping from
dripping
his
from his
lips
lip
inside of
inside of
the cup.
the cup.
He asks
He
for the
asks for the
second one.
second one.
They bring
They
the
bring the
second one.
second one.
Blood
Blood
falls down
falls
in the
down in
water.
the water.
He asks
He
for the
asks for the
third one.
third one.
They bring
They
the
bring the
third
third
cup.
cup.
Very
Very
same thing
same thing
happens.
happens.
He looks
He
at the
looks at the
water
water
that has
that
the
has the
blood
blood
of
of
himself
himself
inside.
inside.
He says
He
there
says
is
there
a
is a
wisdom in
wisdom in
this.
this.
If I were
If I were
supposed to be
supposed to be
drinking
drinking
water
water
before you
before
guys
you
kill
guys
me,
kill me,
I would have been able to do so. There is a story to this. Perhaps he was seeing what would happen on the day of Ashura. When Hazrat Abbas enters Al-Ghama, when he puts his hand inside of the Furat and he brings the water up, he keeps on looking and staring at the water of the Furat and talking to it and saying, shame upon you, O Furat, that you are like running here as free as you want, and the grandson of Nabi Rasulullah, the women and children of Nabi Rasulullah are about a couple of hundred yards away from you being kept thirsty for 3 consecutive days. So Furat, shame upon you. They want to take Hazrat the Muslim for execution. One of the
One of the
reporters says,
reporters
I
says, I
noticed that
noticed that
he's
he's
shivering. His
shivering. His
shoulders are
shoulders are
shaking.
shaking.
So I
So
got
I
close
got
and I
close and I
told
told
Ubaidullah, look,
Ubaidullah, look,
this is the
this is the
Muslim that you
Muslim
guys
that you
could
guys
not
could
take
not
him
take
out.
him out.
He's
He's
shivering out
shivering
of the
out of the
fear.
fear.
Ubaidullah
Ubaidullah
taking the
taking the
opportunity
opportunity
talks to
talks to
Hazrat the
Hazrat the
Muslim, why
Muslim.
are you
Why are you
shivering?
shivering?
Are you
Are you
afraid?
afraid?
This is
This is
something
something
normal
normal
for a
for a
fighter such
fighter
as
such as
yourself.
yourself.
Hazrat the
Hazrat the
Muslim
Muslim
become and
becomes and
responds back
responds
in the
back in the
absolute
absolute
courageous
courageous
way.
way.
Is like,
It's like,
fool, I'm
fool,
not
I'm not
crying for
crying for
myself.
myself.
My
My
life is
life is
one day
one
that I
day that
can
I
give
can give
away on the
away on the
path of
path of
Abu
Abu
Abdullah, to
Abdullah
say
to
with
say
no
with no
regret.
regret.
I'm
I'm
crying and I'm
crying and I'm
shivering and I'm
shivering and I'm
fearful
fearful
for the
for the
one that I
one that
have
I have
written the
written the
letter
letter
to,
to,
for the
for
one
the
that I
one
have
that I have
written the
written the
words that,
words
oh
that,
Abu
oh Abu
Abdullah,
Abdullah,
18,000
18,000
people have
people have
pledged their
pledged their
allegiance and
allegiance and
waiting for
waiting
your
for your
arrival.
arrival.
Oh Abu
Oh Abu
Abdullah,
Abdullah,
haste towards
haste
the
towards the
city of
city of
Kufa.
Kufa.
Oh Abu
Oh Abu
Abdullah, do
Abdullah,
not
do
come
not come
alone to the
alone to
city
the
of
city of
Kufa.
Kufa.
Oh
Oh
Imam al
Imam
Hussein,
al-Hussein,
bring your
bring your
family,
family,
bring
bring
Rabab,
Rabah,
bring
bring
Zainab al-Kubra, bring Kulthum, bring Hazrat Ali Asghar, bring Hazrat Ali Akbar. Don't you be coming alone. We have
we have
so much
so much
support for
support for
you.
you.
Oh,
Oh
Ubaidullah, if you
Ubaidullah, if
can
you
do me
can do
one
me one
favor, just
favor,
write
just write
one
one
letter back
letter
to
back
Abu
to Abu
Abdullah.
Abdullah.
Tell him
Tell
that
him
I
that
did
I did
wrong.
wrong.
Do not
Do not
come to
come to
Kufa. The
Kufa. The
people of
people
Kufa
of
are
Kufa
no
are no
supporters. They're
supporters.
not
They're
the
not the
man
man
of
of
their
their
words.
words.
Oh,
Oh
Abu Abdullah, I am
Abdullah, I am
sorry for
sorry
this
for
letter
this
that I'm writing
letter
to
to
you.
you.
They took
They
this
took this
body to the
body to
roof
the
of
roof
Dar
of
al-Imara.
Dar.
One of the
One of
ones
the
who was
ones who was
wounded by
wounded by
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
becomes in
becomes in
charge of
charge of
execution.
execution.
One
One
strike
strike
separates the head
separates
of
the head of
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim
Muslim
from his
from his
body.
body.
But
But
Malamun doesn't stop.
stop
Out of the
out of the
grudge that he
grudge that he
has, he
has. He
takes the
takes the
body of
body of
Hazrat
Hazrat
Muslim from
Muslim from
Darul
Dar
Imara
al-Imam
all the way down to the
down to the
ground.
ground.
The
The
body
body
without the head falls down
falls
on the
on the
ground.
ground.
How hard
How
would it
hard
hit
would
the
it hit the
ground?
ground?
Ya
Ya
Allah, La
Allah,
yawmika yawmika ya Abu Abdullah. At least here Hazrat Muslim was beheaded before his body was dropped down from Darul Imara. But I know the body of Abu Abdullah on the day of Ashur, laying there of ways of Karbala, still has the feelings in his body, still is
still is
able to
able to
open up
open
his
eyes.
eyes. He opens up his eyes, and what does he see? وَالشَّمْرُ جَالِسٌ عَلَى صَدْرِهِ. That Malun is sitting over the chest of Abu Abdullah. إنا
إنا
لله
لله
وإنا
وإنا
إليه
إليه
راجعون
راجعون
وسيعلم
وسيعلم
الذين
الذين
ظلموا
ظلموا
أي
أي
منقلب
منقلب
ينقلبون.
ينقلبون.
Oh Allah,
Oh
we
Allah,
ask
we
you on the
ask you on
right
the
of
right of
Imam
Imam
Hussein,
Hussein,
on the
on
right
the
of
right of
Muharram, on the
Muharram, on
right
the
of the
right of the
Ahlul Bayt,
Ahlul
and the
Bayt,
right
and the
of
right of
Quran. Oh
Quran. Oh
Allah, oh
Allah, oh
Allah,
Allah,
oh
oh
Allah.
Allah.
Hasten the
Hasten the
appearance of
appearance
that
of
Imam
that
of
Imam of
time
time
and
and
grant every
grant every
single one
single
of us
one
the
of us the
bounty to be
bounty to
part
be
of his
part of his
companions.
companions.
Oh
Oh
Allah, we
Allah,
ask
we'll
you
ask you
for
for
complete
complete
shifa for
shifa for
all of
all
those
of
who have
those who
come
have
down
come
with
down with
sicknesses,
sicknesses,
especially
especially
mu'mina and
mu'mina and
mu'minat of the
mu'minat of the
community and
community
around
and
the
around the
world.
world.
Oh
Oh
Allah, we
Allah,
ask
we'll
you for
ask you for
forgiveness upon
forgiveness
all
upon
of us,
all of
upon
us,
all of
upon
our
all of our
mahimin and
mu'minin and
mu'minat,
mu'minat,
and
and
inshallah to
inshallah to
protect our
protect our
future and
future
next
and next
generations.
generations.
Oh
Oh
Allah, we
Allah,
ask
we'll
you to
ask you to
extend your
extend your
support and
support and
mercy
mercy
upon all the
upon all the
Muslimin,
Muslimin,
Muslimat,
Muslimat,
mu'minin and
mu'minin, and
mu'minat around
mu'minat
the
around the
world,
world,
and to
and to
accept this
accept this
majalis on
majalis on
behalf of your
behalf of your
mercy
mercy,
and
and
extend the
extend the
thawab and
sawab and
rewards of this
rewards of this
majalis to the
majalis to the
souls of
souls
our
of our
Hajar
Hajar
Azam,
Azam,
Ulama,
Ulama,
Shuhada,
Shuhada,
Mu'minin, and
Mu'minin, and
Muslimat,
Muslimat,
specifically the
specifically the
Shaheed
Shaheed
Manzoor.
Manzoor.
Oh
Oh
Allah, oh
Allah,
Allah,
oh
oh
Allah,
Allah,
oh
we
Allah,
ask
we'll
you to
ask you to
grant all
grant
of us
all
the
of us the
bounty to the
bounty for the
ziyarat of the
ziyarat of the
Ahlul Bayt
Ahlul
in
Bayt
this
in this
life,
life,
and
and
inshallah the
inshallah the
benefits of the
benefits of the
shafa'a
shafa'a
intercession in
intercession
your
in your
midst.
midst.
رحم
رحم
الله من
الله
قال
من قال
الفاتحة
الفاتحة
مع
مع
الصلوات.
الصلوات.
الله